what we're on? Holy smokes, guys. Stocks did not look too good today. The Dow was down about 1.35%. The S&P 500 down about 1.42%. And the NASDAQ was down close to 2%. We got to discuss all this. A ton of stocks made downward moves. We got to discuss Facebook here. We got to discuss one of my stocks that went down more than the market did today. First off, let's start off with this Facebook story. This has been the story that's kind of dominated today. So Facebook went down close to 7% today, over $12.50 a share. Facebook was down. It's still somewhat close to its 52-week high of $195. But it did definitely drop down. So there's a bunch of stuff out there, bad publicity in regards to Facebook today, and there's been for the last few weeks. So Facebook is facing an existential crisis. The Cambridge Analytica scandal has done immense damage to the brand. Sources across the company believe it will now take a Herculean effort to restore public trust in Facebook's commitment to privacy and data protection, they said. Outside observers think regulation has suddenly become more likely, and yet CEO Mark Zuckerberg seems to be missing in action. So a University of Cambridge professor accessed the data of more than 50 million Facebook users simply by creating a survey filed by 270,000 people. Facebook provided the guy with data of anyone who took the survey as well as their friends' data. In a statement, Facebook said Kogan gained access to this information in a legitimate way and through proper channels that governed all developers on Facebook at that time. The one rule Kogan violated, according to Facebook, was passing the user's data to third parties, including Cambridge Analytica, a political data firm founded by former Trump aide Steve Bannon and conservative donor Robert Mercer. And that's probably why this is such a big story, in my personal opinion, is because it's something in relation to Trump and, helped Trump get elected and things like that. That's probably a big part of why it's such a big, story and whatnot. So obviously we saw Google make a big downward move. We saw Snapchat make a big downward move. What do these companies have in common? They're advertising companies. Pandora made a big time downward move. So let's talk about just Facebook, and I want to kind of explain this and why it's not, in my opinion, as big of a deal as the media is making it out to be. Let's just put it that way. And why, someone that's a hardcore user of Facebook is probably not going to be like, oh, I'm not using Facebook anymore. I think Facebook has had some weakness in Facebook, the platform, for a while. Instagram, I think, has helped carry the company. But I think this is not going to be nearly as big of an effect. So basically, you have Facebook over here, okay? If you don't understand how Facebook makes money, I'm going to explain exactly how they make money to you right now, okay? It's pretty simple. Facebook's here and you're right here, okay? And you create your Facebook account, all right? And you go ahead and you put in a bunch of data. You put in a bunch of information that once you put in that information, it's now Facebook's information, okay? So you say, oh, I'm a male, okay? I'm 35 years old. I live in New Jersey. I like, Budweiser, okay? I like drinking Budweiser. I like beer or whatnot. And you enter in all this information, and you like, watching football on TV and blah, blah, blah. And you enter in all this information over time into Facebook, and you like all these different things. And Facebook has all this data, okay? Facebook has all this data. And this is really how Facebook makes its money, okay? From the data. That's what's important. All this data you enter in your Facebook profile, and it's not just Facebook, it's really almost every social network or things like that, right? They get all this information and they store this information. And then all of a sudden you got this guy over here who's a craft beer brewery, and he says, okay, well, guess what? I need to do some advertising here on Facebook, okay? So what I'm looking for, Facebook, so I'm looking for males 30 to 40 years old, okay? Males. And I want to run some beer ads here on Facebook that are going to show up. And I want to target people that have liked Bud, and I want to target people that have liked football. And guess what? There's going to be a lot of people, and maybe they're even in New Jersey, okay? There's going to be a lot of people that fit that criteria. And so these guys, they give their money to Facebook to run ads to hopefully increase brand awareness of their craft beer, okay? And that is Facebook in a nutshell on how they make money. They have all this data. They give it to these guys over here so they can go ahead and advertise over here, all right? Now, this situation was basically someone got a bunch of survey through, or a bunch of data information through a survey, and then they passed on that knowledge to a third party, okay? This has probably been going on for a very long time. There's a lot of shady stuff that goes on with Facebook advertising, and not just Facebook advertising, it's a lot of different companies, a lot of shady stuff. This one really comes out big because it involves President Trump, okay? Let's be honest. That's why it's really making the big news. If it was just some company that passed off to another company some third-party information, this would be like back page news story stuff. But because it involves Steve Bannon, obviously Donald Trump, it blows up into a big, big story, all right? Now, Facebook, I call Facebook basically Google on steroids, okay? It's Google on steroids because remember, they get all this information. How Google makes money is you go ahead and you search something, okay? So you go ahead and you search, cars for sale in New Jersey. Holy smokes, I spelled sale wrong. In New Jersey, okay? So you go ahead and search that into Google, right? This is how Google works. And then Google basically has AdWords and whatnot that people put in, and they'll try to compete for terms like that. So Google absolutely has a bunch of data on you, okay? And they store all that data as well in their search boxes and whatnot, and they hold all that data. So you enter all this information, and then Google ends up running ads to you based upon that information. But Facebook is Google on steroids because they literally have exact information on you. They know for a fact you're male because you put that in there. They know for a fact you're 35 years old because you put that in there. They know for a fact you live in New Jersey because all your posts are from New Jersey that you always do, and you tag those places, right? And your favorite restaurant you go and you tag it, oh, it's New Jersey, and then you put it in there. They know you like Budweiser because you specifically, went to the Budweiser page and like the Budweiser page or saw it and like, I like that. They know you specifically like NFL football because you like NFL football, and then your comments have to do with NFL football. They read through all that information, well, not like a person, like usually it's like computers and whatnot. So literally Facebook is Google on steroids, okay? Google could only get your information to a certain extent, okay? This can get exact information, guys, and that's what has always made Facebook scary, but at the same time, do I think it's a situation where people that really use Facebook all the time are going to be like, oh, I'm not going to use Facebook anymore? I don't think so, because this has been known for a long time, guys. This has been known for a long time. It's just the way it is. I think people that still love Facebook and use it all the time are probably still going to use it just as much. I think people that, like myself, that don't use Facebook at all probably still aren't going to be really using Facebook, all right? So that covers the kind of the Facebook situation there. Obviously, we saw, a bunch of advertisers get hit. So I want to talk about one of my stocks in particular. So it was crazy. Eli actually somehow managed to go up today, my biggest investment. But my second biggest investment, Cirrus Logic, that one went down close to 5% today. And that one was a big downward mover. And there was no news in relation to that stock. And the reason I think that one moved down today, and by the way, I did buy some more shares in Cirrus Logic today. The reason I believe that one probably moved down is because there's some information that came out about Apple might switch a glass producer and stop using Samsung, which I think they're using for glass, and LG. And anytime Apple's, comes up with, they might switch suppliers, a company like Cirrus Logic gets hammered because they're so reliant on Apple. So this is just kind of the situation that, the good and the bad that comes with Cirrus Logic. Cirrus Logic has a ton of growth potential over the next few years, but at the same time, because they're so heavily reliant on Apple, anytime any of these little stories come out, even though it has nothing to do with Cirrus Logic, it's just Cirrus Logic might switch suppliers of glass and they might start producing their own glass. Anytime anything like that comes out, and a company like Cirrus Logic is very reliant on Apple, it's going to make the stock move downward, and that's just kind of one of the risks of being in Cirrus Logic, and something I just kind of have to live with that particular stock. But I believe in it for the long term, and that's why I've been loading up on shares. That's why it's my second biggest investment. But we'll see how that goes. So let me know, guys, like, what do you think about the markets today? What do you think about downward moves? Were you buying any shares out there today? Were you making any moves? What do you think about the Facebook story? What do you think about Facebook in general? I would kind of love to know your guys' opinion down there in that comment section if you would like to share it. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.